Hello everyone. I hope you and your family are staying safe and healthy. I'm Jack from Samsung, representing the B2B R&D group. I think the video clip we've just seen pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? During the last few months, everyone has faced a lot of unfamiliar challenges as our routines at home, schools, and workplaces were dramatically changed. Pretty much all family members had to find ways to get things done from home, be it working, learning, or socializing. For my family, for example, I think the last time we spent that much time together at home was when my kids were toddlers. It was great to be rediscovering each other and bonding over breakfast, but on the other hand, we were constantly getting in each other's way, competing for screen time. Kids had to work on their school assignments online. My wife had to present business proposals during online meetings. I had to work on my project plans. We only had 2 laptops, and obviously, time slicing 2 laptops wasn't going to work too well. In our first episode a few weeks ago, I shared with you a small demo of Samsung DeX solution. Since then, we've received a lot of feedback, suggestions from you, asking for a deeper dive on Samsung DeX. And that's what we're going to do today. When we first designed Samsung DeX a few years back, we were trying to maximize the power of our smartphones as they continue to become smarter and better performing. Fast forwarded to today, we're now finding that Samsung DeX can address a number of challenges and pain points that working and learning remotely brings to our customers and partners. As we navigate these uncertain times, we see the adoption of many technologies and services such as telehealth, online meetings, and real-time communication platforms accelerating at hyper speed. No one really knows what the new normal is going to look like, but I think it's fair to say that working, learning, and socializing remotely will be part of the new normal, which will demand better mobility solutions. And that's where we believe Samsung DeX can play a pivotal role. Samsung DeX is a proven solution built to unleash the power of Samsung phone in your hand and to assist you to meet new challenges, to reduce friction, to be productive, and simply to get your work done. Samsung DeX on our smartphone like S20 here works with all key productivity and communication apps, and it's fully secured by our award-winning Knox platform. It enables one device to serve multiple purposes securely. Today, my colleagues will walk you through Samsung DeX and show you how easy it is to get going. We're also going to share with you a number of Samsung DeX capabilities and what else is possible. Afterwards, Casey Choi, our Executive Vice President of Global Mobile Business Team, will talk with Jeff Mitchell, Senior Vice President and Head of Worldwide End User Computing Sales at VMware, to see how VMware has put the Samsung DeX solution into action. And Abhay Kulkarni, Vice President of WebEx Meetings at Cisco, and I will discuss what it was like to integrate WebEx and Samsung DeX. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Samsung Together, and please do let us know your thoughts on Samsung DeX. Thank you, and please stay safe.
Oh, wow, times have changed, and that means there's a new normal. What's the new normal? Working from home. As more people work from the house, we're seeing many people struggling with decisions concerning technology, trying to find the right device, the cable, the adapters, the mouses, keyboard, computer, and maybe even a second computer. Well, recent research shows us that your phone has enough computational power to process all that work that used to be done on your computer. Was this really true? We also found that there's a solution called Samsung DeX that can turn your phone into a computer. Really? Is this possible? If so, how? I need to know. Let's set the scene. You just started working at home, and everything seems really good. You wake up in your PJs, you don't have to put on a suit, you slowly take in the morning sun, brew a pot of coffee. Everything sounds great, right? And it's time to really wake up, because the reality is that working at home is not so easy. And it's not always a pretty picture. And then you realize your programs are so outdated, you can't even access your corporate email server. You know, security regulations and whatnot. After hours of trying to figure out a workaround, you end up using your phone to answer emails, do video calls, and work on that spreadsheet. Anyways, so what's the good news? For starters, you're definitely not alone. And chances are, your smartphone is far more powerful than that old desktop or laptop that you just updated. Like, way more powerful. And so you think to yourself, can I just use this? No. A serious business person like you or myself, we surely know that there's no way your little mobile phone can actually replace a real computer. But what if it could? Well, we happen to have a couple of experts right here who believe that this phone here can give you pretty much everything you need for working at home. Not only that, it's going to make your life a lot easier and keep your corporate security masters doing a happy dance. Me? Hey, I'm a skeptic. But let's find out together. And you be the judge. Meet Kevin and Michael.
Hi folks, I'm Kevin Tobin.
Michael Kim.
Michael and I are from Samsung's global mobile B2B team here in Suwon, Korea. And we're pretty lucky to have Michael here. We're going to talk a little bit about DeX.
Super excited.
Super excited. So DeX is Samsung's solution to turn your mobile device into a productivity tool. Michael, as I said, we're lucky to have Michael here, particularly because Michael's been a godfather of DeX since about 2015.
Oh, am I have to be a godfather?
Yeah, man. Well, I think back in 2015 when this all started, it was you, a screen, your team, and a bunch of devices, and just trying to build this desktop experience. And a lot of people thought you were crazy.
We were crazy, but we were trying something really impossible.
Can you give us a bit more detail, or take us through a bit more detail of what is DeX?
So DeX in a nutshell is a Samsung solution that allows you to use your mobile phone as a mobile computer.
Okay, so mobile computer.
Little fuzzy word.
Yeah.
So let me explain a little bit more. So our mobile devices has a great computing power.
Yeah.
So in order to use it as a mobile computer, all you need is large screen and keyboard and mouse.
So the anecdote lately is like, there's more compute power in this mobile device than there is of what sent people to the moon. So show me how we're changing the moon landings to a desktop experience.
Right. So all you need is just a cable to connect it to your monitor. And the way we design Samsung DeX is easy to use. So it's a plug and play. As you just plug,
And
it launches Samsung DeX.
okay. So this is a desktop experience. You've still got, I'm guessing, your Android on traditional Android running on your phone.
It's a One UI running on my phone. And the beauty of DeX is, as you have DeX on your monitor, you can keep using your phone as a phone. And everything is fully built to be used with the keyboard and mouse. So let me show you. So as I open up my browsers, I can open up multiple browsers. I can open up PowerPoint.
So you're getting this multi-window experience that we're used to on the phone, we're used to on a desktop, but you're using the phone to run a multi-window experience on a desktop.
And you get your familiar mouse right click to copy and paste your text, and you can move around and launch all your applications. So as you click here, you get to see all your applications on your phone.
And you're using your mouse to scroll through there as well. So a very familiar, very traditional experience of using the phone as a desktop.
Exactly.
Okay. So you've got a Samsung phone, I think that's the Note 10, it's your personal device. You've got your own monitor here as well, a Samsung device. That keyboard and mouse, they're not Samsung. So
These are not Samsung.
what setup can we use?
So obviously the phone becomes a brain, so you need to have Samsung phone or Samsung tablet.
Okay.
But rest of the peripheral devices, including display, could be any brand.
I'm guessing the DeX experience is similar or the same as what you've just shown us with the phone?
It's the same but a little different.
I'll give you that. Okay.
Let me
How?
tell you how. So this is a just familiar looking tablet UI.
Okay.
You can browse, watch movies, and as you connect it to the monitor, it gives the same sort of desktop
Okay,
experience.
so we've seen that with the phone. What's different?
So difference is, since this is a great looking over 10-inch screen, all you need is you get to see Samsung DeX option here.
Okay.
You press and it goes into Samsung DeX.
So you're launching DeX on that
On the
large
tablet.
monitor, so a desktop experience on a larger.
I call it as Samsung DeX standalone mode.
You're going to plug it into your desktop or your book cover keyboard.
And as I just connect, then it fires up the Samsung DeX automatically. There's an option that you can enable. Just, as you connect, it goes into DeX mode.
So you've got an automatic DeX experience with a keyboard attached.
Exactly. So that's
Brilliant.
how DeX works on the tablet.
Can we work DeX in a traditional Windows environment?
So I think your question is, can I use DeX on my PC?
Yeah.
So answer is yes.
Show me
So we continuously improve our DeX product based on the voice of customer. Many of customers, ask us to support DeX on the PC. And the main reason is they love to use phones on the monitor, but it's a little painful because they need to maybe have to have a second monitor and keyboard and mouse. So I have my PC here, and all you need, so in order to use DeX for PC, all you need is install PC version of DeX
Okay.
on the computer, and you need a charging cable.
So you've got a USB, just a basic USB-C to A charging cable here.
Yeah, obviously this is charging cable, but also data cable.
Okay.
So as I connect to my phone,
So now you've got your phone DeX experience running in Windows.
exactly, you get the same DeX experience on your PC.
Okay.
You can make it the full screen. Then
And you can copy and drag and drop files between the
Android
DeX
and the
experience
PC.
and the PC.
Yes.
Okay.
In the week since the last Samsung Together, Samsung has heard from a lot of people who are starting to use Samsung DeX. And they are getting lots of great questions, such as, how can I use it to work remotely? What devices does it work with? Let's hear some of these answers.
Okay, Michael. So that's the basics behind DeX. I'm thinking there's a number of different use cases we can have with this, right? So I can think of three, or we've talked about three in the past. The first I can think of really is what we would call highly mobile workers. And there's a lot of those that work here in Samsung, folks who are on the road a lot. They want to use a single device instead of carrying PC,
on the
phone,
business
or
trip and the
tablet.
meetings.
Business trips and meetings. And a lot of people will be familiar with this. So they can use DeX from their phone, very simply.
Exactly.
What else? What other type of use cases can you share with us?
We saw a lot of first responders.
Okay.
They use DeX in their, like vehicles and car. So they use their mobile phone as their, key computing device. So on the road, they take a picture, they create a tickets.
Okay,
And
so
then,
they're using the phone in the field instead of pen and paper. It's becoming their productivity tool in the field.
exactly.
Okay.
And then as they get into the car, they just drop their phone, connecting to their embedded, small monitor in the vehicle. That's what we call DeX in vehicle. Then they can finish up their, reportings on the vehicle without having actual computing device.
That's brilliant. And so that you've got that seamless sort of transition from field to traditional productivity
Yes.
environment. That's brilliant. So that's highly mobile workers, DeX in car. What about this new sort of transition case that we're seeing of, again, traditional workers who would be in field, we call them frontline workers or field workers that would use pen and paper. How can DeX sort of improve or enhance that sort of use case?
So we saw a lot of workers in the manufacturing lines, or oil and gas, or even warehouse. They because of their work environment,
Yeah.
they use ruggedized tablets. So
And ruggedized is near and dear to us because it's a purpose-built, fit-for-purpose device, right? The traditional Samsung device, beautifully crafted, consumer focused, but we've also a whole line of rugged devices.
yes, so Tab Active Pro is a perfect device for that use case, and they can use this tablet as a tablet with their gloves on it. But as they finish their work, if they need to do some productivity work, then they can launch Samsung DeX as well,
Yeah.
and they can finish their work.
So similar to the Tab S6 tablet standalone mode that you just shared.
Exactly.
Brilliant. So you're getting that seamless continuity between data capture or field work to data entry or productivity station.
Exactly.
But we want the applications to work within the DeX environment, and we've built up some really strong partnerships around that. Can you take me through some of the work we've done with partners to enable that DeX experience?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So one of the key questions that we got from our customers are like, can I start using all the applications, or what are the list of business applications that you support? So to provide great DEX experience with the business applications, we work with partners. So speaking of partners, we work with Microsoft to provide great Office experience.
And that's, again, we talk about traditional or familiar. That's what people are used to working in. PowerPoint, Word, Excel, all of these work within the DEX environment.
And we also have other Office vendors like Handcom or Polaris Office.
Brilliant.
We also have a great, browsers like Samsung Internet, Chrome browser, works great on DEX.
So you can have that multi-window experience where you're going from productivity tool to browsing to getting information and using that in the productivity tool.
Exactly. And we also have a great video conferencing.
So important these days, right? Everything's changed. VC or video conferencing has become so important for people to work. You're saying that works well in DEX as well?
Yes. So we have great partners like Zoom, GoToMeeting, BlueJeans, and WebEx, Cisco WebEx. They all work great on DEX. And speaking of Cisco WebEx, it provides a great multitasking experience in a way that you can run your video conferencing on one hand, and you can keep checking your email or change your slide in last minute.
Right, and you can share screens in DEX mode as well, and keep that continuity experience from mobile to DEX. So if you're on the go on your call, as soon as you dock, you have continuity across that experience. Brilliant.
Okay, so now we've started to get serious with how people anywhere can really take advantage of Samsung DEX. But some of you might be wondering, what kind of business apps you can use? And what happens when you absolutely have to use a Windows 10 PC program because of your company? Well, let's find out.
For that, there's a solution called VDI, Virtual Desktop Infrastructure, that allows you to run your legacy PC applications on any endpoint devices, including Android. So from the beginning of our project, we've been working closely with those key partners, including Citrix, VMware, Amazon, and Microsoft, to provide great VDI experience on DEX.
Okay.
Speaking of VDI experience,
show us.
Let me show you some demo. So I have a VMware Horizon client here. I'm now logging in, and as I log in, I get to connect to one of their cloud server.
Brilliant.
I think it's connecting to the US West Coast.
So you're going from Korea to the US West Coast, so that would explain a little bit about why it's saying loading desktop, but what are we going to get at the end of it?
So it's as if I'm turning on my virtual PC, and then as it loads up, I will have my virtual Windows environment where I can, there you go. I can get an access to all my data and applications on my PC.
So you're running a Windows virtual machine on a Samsung Galaxy device in DEX.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So, besides offering a really familiar operating environment, DEX is optimized for a lot of the apps that you use mostly for work, and even provides a solution for running Windows 10 PC apps virtually. But what about all those other apps on our phones? Some of them are built to only work with the smaller screens on our phones. Many don't even work natively on a tablet. The good news is that DEX can handle it. Let's take a look at how DEX overcomes this challenge.
Is there anything you can share that's not necessarily intuitive to people when they get into DEX first? Any hints or tips or secret sauce that you can share with us for DEX?
Secret sauce, there you go. So here's some hints and tips. So number one, I would recommend to use DEX Labs.
Okay, so you're going down into the DEX home piece, the home button there, and you've got what is DEX Labs?
So DEX Labs is the option that allows you to use some of the experimental features that we provide. There are two options. One is a force apps to resize, and the second one is auto open last application.
Okay.
First one gives you the more freedom to use more apps on the resizable window, because by application design, certain application only runs on the fixed size window.
So we've worked partnerships with a lot of some of the earlier examples you gave. So Microsoft on productivity, Cisco WebEx for video conferencing. So those partnerships optimize their applications for DEX environment, but some don't support sort of full screen window, and that's what you're talking about here.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
And the second one is auto open last app.
My
think
favorite.
This is your favorite one.
Man.
And let's say I'm checking my calendar.
Okay.
Just like this.
So you're on the go, you're highly
I'm on the
mobile.
go, and then now I'm back in my office.
Yeah.
I connect it to my monitor,
Now we're getting the traditional DeX boot up piece here.
and then as I connect, it minimize and launch my calendar application on the DeX. Very handy. I don't need to do any extra gestures to do it. And if I need to go to the next meeting, I can disconnect, and then it launches my calendar again.
I know, in traditional Windows environment or desktop environment, there's different keyboard shortcuts.
Oh, keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, great point.
What have you got in DeX?
So I have a Windows version of keyboard here,
Okay.
and you press Windows and slash. There
Okay,
you
so
go.
this brings up the list of keyboard shortcuts that you've got, and I want to say it's very similar, or it's aligned with what you would expect in a traditional environment.
Exactly.
DeX is designed to be flexible and adaptive to any kind of working environment. From running full Windows 10 apps to smart and convenient features, the possibilities seem endless. We talked a lot about people working from home and mobile workers out in the field, but what about small business owners? How can they take advantage of DeX to help manage and operate their business?
We provide ways to customize and manage and control DeX experience by Knox.
So Knox is Samsung's security and manageability platform, and allows us to sort of control the experience that people would have on our devices, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so how does that work in DeX?
So let me show you the demo.
Cool.
So I have my Tab Active Pro device here, and as I connect to the large monitor so that you can see it, it launched DeX just like that. And I did a little bit of a pre-work.
Okay, so
as
you've got
see-
a custom background there,
Exactly.
right?
So you have custom background. You can pre-populate your desired applications. And with the application policy, you can control what apps used and not used on DeX.
So you can say, you can whitelist or make sure that business apps are prioritized in the DeX experience, but things like gaming or entertainment apps will be
Exactly.
pulled off from the DeX desktop.
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
You can block games on DeX.
So you're focusing that sort of worker's experience on the task at hand.
Exactly.
Brilliant. So, and here's another case of how DeX and Knox can be used, and this time it's for retail banking.
So as you can see, the staff member from the bank is using DeX with a monitor, and it's set up to interact with the customer through a tablet device.
And this is all powered through DeX.
That's correct. So the bank clerk logs into the system securely and select plans that works for the customer. Once the selection is complete, you will see now that the customer can choose from an array of cards offered by the bank. After browsing, the customer selects a credit card and can start filling out the form digitally. Everything from personal data to scanning IDs happen on this tablet through Samsung DeX.
And I see that the bank clerk can also see the information getting updated on his screen.
Right. So when the customer completes the form, it's now time for the bank staff to sign the contract with a digital signature, and so does the customer. When both parties finish signing the contract, the form is sent to the data center for processing. And of course, all the info that's being collected gets instantly wiped from the device.
I'm sure a lot of customers will feel more comfortable knowing that all the information is processed securely and that none of it remains on the device once the process is complete. This has been awesome. We've learned a huge amount from the godfather of DeX.
Again, Godfather.
But if people want to learn more, how can they get more information rather than just listening to the two of us here?
So please visit samsungdex.com website so that you can get the latest and greatest information. And also don't hesitate to contact our local team so that they can share the solutions and use cases in each regions.
That's brilliant guidance. That's it for all of us today. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, Samsung DeX. As you can see, it's actually more than just a simple solution designed to help you work from home, although it does do that brilliantly as well. DeX really shows how mobile devices can be used to change how you work from virtually anywhere, at home, in the field, and maybe one of these days, in an office. And as Kevin and Michael mentioned, there is also a wide range of accessories for DeX, designed to provide end-to-end mobile working solutions for professionals in many kinds of situations. There is a ruggedized monitor, a ruggedized keyboard, and a dock that workers can use in their vehicle while working in the field. These accessories are built to be durable and designed to withstand the wear and tear of everyday use in the field. And if you're always on the road, you can use DeX in a standalone mode with a tablet and the DeX keyboard case. If you're working from home, you can use the DeX dock to connect to your home setup. And there's also a DeX swivel dock, which is great for video calls from home. And you know what? You can even use it in the office. And in some environments, like in banking and retail, you can take advantage of the tablet DeX swivel dock, which can be used to consult with clients and even set up to take an electronic signature. That's it from us today, you guys. For all of you working from home out there, just remember, if you have a DeX-capable phone or tablet, you'll have no problem getting your work done productively, no matter where you are, no matter if you're just wearing just your PJs. So stay safe, stay positive, and enjoy this time with your family. Have fun. Let's get through this together. Thank you.
Step up, please. Empty your pockets.
Looks like you're all set for that business trip. You've got your smartphone, laptop, your other smartphone,
Is this all the devices you have?
your tablet, seriously, smartwatch, your backup tablet, and
Anything else in your bag?
whatever that is. This isn't working. Introducing Samsung Mobile Workspace Solutions. With the Galaxy Note 10 with DeX software, you can run your entire business on the one device that does it all. Samsung Business Solutions.
Thanks, Abe, for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for hosting me here, Jack. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you making the time. So, I'm just curious, how has working from home changed your daily routines?
It's been a sea change from what we all used to do, right? In the office, at least, I mean, I'm sure you do the same thing. I have the habit of walking around the office. Now we are sitting here in front of in having video meetings all day. Yes, I'm seeing my daughter a lot more. It's a challenge to get my hair cut. I realize my wife is an expert in cutting my hair.
Right.
So it's been a very, 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 very interesting time. But I would say that the fact that we have video conferencing, we have WebEx, we have mobile technologies like what Samsung has created have really allowed us to stay in touch no matter what. I don't feel like I have not met any one of my team members because we've been constantly on video.
Good. Today, obviously, we wanted to talk more about our collaboration with WebEx and Samsung DeX. But before we get into that, obviously, WebEx has been the industry standard for security and reliability and communication. So I'm kind of wondering if you can share with us what you're seeing at Cisco, with respect to this new demand for communication, and how your secure video conferencing stands apart from others.
Yeah, great question. And ever since COVID started, right? It started first in Asia Pac and sort of sort of affected the world as it moved west. And we found that the work from home and the sort of shelter in place, as many countries started to do, remote work just exploded, right? Everybody started working remotely, working from home, and we saw WebEx meetings, which was already a world leader in terms of the biggest collaboration platform out there. The number of meetings exploded from more than 3.5 times the volume. So we went from serving around about 150 million participants a month to more than 500 million participants a month.
Wow.
And our utilization just grew, like a hockey stick, right? And the growth was serious, and we had to do a lot of work to scale our platform. We obviously leveraged private clouds, public clouds, to make sure that our platform was scaling very well, providing the service that all these different, not just corporations, but educational institutions, telehealth, government agencies, judiciary, all kinds of different types of unknown to WebEx or video conferencing customers started using WebEx, and it was good to see that we were able to stand up to the demand that the world needed right in this time of need. And we also saw a lot of sort of importance given to security and privacy.
Of course.
Conversations that here too are like happening with the behind closed doors. I mean, Jack, you probably want to talk something confidential with your colleague. You would get them in a conference room. You'll shut the door and you'll talk. Well, there is no such thing when you're working from home. So they were all happening on video meetings. So security and privacy and having the right tools for that was especially very important. And it was not a nice to have anymore. So it was great to have that. And I know we always had security features in WebEx, so we didn't really have to do anything different. And we also were secure by default. So it's you set up a meeting, you start the meeting, and you are in a secure posture. So that also helped us quite a bit. And I know we collaborate very closely with Samsung on our security solutions. The fact that we were able to leverage our technologies together also played a big role in our mutual customers' lives, because they now had the assurance of Cisco and WebEx security reliability, also a fantastic brand like Samsung, and the mobility solutions that are secure by default as well, right, from your point of view.
Right. What is your take on this sort of integrated user experience with WebEx and Samsung DeX? And I'm sure you've used it and maybe got some feedbacks and comments. So I'm just kind of curious as to what your experience has been like.
I actually absolutely love the Samsung DeX device, and the fact that it sort of unlocks the potential that is hidden in a phone, right? If you look at like a phone and a device that is so powerful, and especially the devices that Samsung builds, are so powerful, there is so much power in those devices, and the DeX really sort of unlocks the power to kind of give that productivity boost to the employees, right? So especially in a work from home environment where or work remotely environment where you may not have access to all the tools and different things that you have access to at work, having the ability to kind of quickly use a DeX device to move between a mobile screen or a desktop screen, share content, get the full desktop experience on your mobile device. Not to forget things like Bixby and integration of Bixby with WebEx meetings. It happens to me a lot where like I'm in the kitchen, I'm trying to prepare breakfast for my daughter, and I'm getting late to a meeting, and I just talk to Bixby and start the meeting, and tell my attendees like, give me 2 minutes and I'll be in the meeting. So those type of use cases have really sprung to life, it is awesome to see the true power of the mobile platforms, the powerful phones that Samsung builds. Now you can do multitasking with DeX, right? I mean, you can open up a browser as you are on video. You can browse, or you can open up a document, co-edit, and all those things are now very, very easy to do because of the integration that we built together with DeX. I know.
If we look at how Cisco and Samsung have been working together, two companies have been collaborating for many years, decades, and so obviously from Samsung's perspective, we're absolutely open to collaborating to bring meaningful innovations and values to our consumers and customers. Kind of curious as to what your thoughts on this collaborative partnership with Samsung from your perspective.
We think that we can work really closely with Samsung and Cisco and WebEx to really kind of take collaboration with the aspect of a user's and employees' productivity, and take that to a whole new level. When you talk about having productive meetings, the fact that the meeting starts on time, everybody is engaged and participating, so they're not distracted by any things that potentially might take time away, and meetings that actually finish earlier ahead of time because they got their job done. Is really our mutual goal, right, between Cisco and Samsung, and then extending that meeting beyond that to make it, make all that collaboration happen securely, seamlessly, with the ease of use and experience that in any user in the world, no matter what age, what nationality, or wherever, what type of user they are, should be able to use is really our goal. And we really think that when you think about the post-COVID world of maybe a part of the workforce going back to office and part of the workforce staying at home, these type of interactions and making it more and more seamless for users to kind of facilitate them interacting with each other, making it easy is going to be super important for us, and for the rest of the customers that we have.
To that end, I know we are coming up on our time limit, but a lot of us, and then including myself, are wondering, what's next new normal? If there's such thing. I was wondering what your thoughts in terms of what does it mean to be next new normal from business continuity perspective, and us as technology providers, how can we help shaping that next new normal?
So as the post-COVID world, and I don't even know if post-COVID is actually the right term to use, because we are still in the COVID era. We don't have a vaccine yet. But as we start to ease the restrictions that most countries have put, and people start to come back to their normal life, it's going to be very important that we collaborate on technologies that allow us to maybe figure out social distancing measures. Can we cover that by collaborating with each other? Because obviously the mobile phones are so powerful. There are so many sensors now that they could do a lot of work, and maybe we can collaborate that together and expose that in WebEx as they are meeting together. And then the way we can obviously the post-COVID and the post-pandemic world will bring some new challenges. So these type of innovation and co-collaboration, co-creation of new technologies and solutions will really help us. I really believe that a mobile phone is no longer just a mobile phone used for making phone calls. It is your life. And in a post-COVID world, it is more than your life now. It is also your work, life, and everything else put together, right? And I think that's where giving our customers the seamless experience when they collaborate on Samsung devices is going to be of huge importance, and it's going to be critical for us to achieve.
Right, and I love the fact that WebEx, it's built on secure platform. It is continuously optimizing the convenience for the end users. Again, it's fantastic working with you and with your team to build a very interesting and integrated solution with Samsung DeX, and really appreciate your collaborative spirit, and we continue to look forward to working with you and finding different, more innovative solutions together.
Thank you, Jack. Likewise, and I'm very excited to collaborate with Samsung and take the DeX integration as a start, and maybe we can figure out many more opportunities going forward. My team is excited, and thank you for having me here. It was a great discussion and chat.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing? Good evening to you in there in Florida.
Hi, Casey. Thank you for having me. We're doing well here.
Great to see you. Last time I saw you, we were together here in Korea, and look forward to getting together again with you, maybe in Florida this time. So great to see you, and I hope you're doing well. I know this has been a real challenging time for everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and we'd love to host you here in the United States when time permits. But
awesome.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Great, awesome. Thank you. You know how deeply I believe in the VMware relationship. You guys are one of our lead partners when it comes to endpoint management and UEMM. We're doing a lot of work with you, and I think especially now with what we've experienced collectively around the world with coronavirus, the need for remote working solutions is even more paramount than ever before. And I think we were in a really good position. Especially before the virus struck, we were actually working together on some business continuity initiatives, and I think the timing kind of came about in a way where some of these solutions and working with you with AirWatch and with Workspace ONE really were kind of fortuitous for us. I wanted to maybe have you describe a little bit about that initiative, the Business Continuity Initiative, what that means to you, what that means to us, and what you've seen out in the market.
Right. No, I think you make a really good point. I mean, we've been working on, as I look at our digital workspace kind of vision, and we've been working probably for 3 years, 3+ years as the technology has evolved across devices and management and security. And really, since we've been now in COVID, now that we're kind of through this respond phase, I do think there's an interesting opportunity here to kind of go accelerate some of those decisions as companies have been able to kind of experience, what they're able to do in a remote working environment. So it's interesting. There may be some blessings in disguise, but with that being said, it's been a challenging time. We've been, all hands on deck with helping our clients really from a workforce continuity standpoint. So one element of business continuity, but that's really been making sure from a device standpoint, from an app standpoint, from access, they've been able to do the basics of the job. But we are starting to see people come out of the respond and really kind of get in the reflect and rethink and start to build out, how do they, build that new modern platform going forward.
Yeah, I know you and I speak to a lot of customers, and what I'm sensing is that there was this massive rush to enable, a large part, or if in fact probably the majority part of workforces for remote work. And now what I'm hearing is that even with some of the return to normal, that the new normal is going to be not quite like what we saw before, where we're going to see, continued massive parts of the workforce population continuing to be work from home or work remote without coming back into the office. So as I think about some of the work that we've done with you around VDI solutions and others, I think this is going to be, a continuation as well as maybe somewhat of a refinement of these solutions as maybe the crisis period winds down a little bit and we get into more what I would call kind of optimization, refinement. Is that kind of how you guys are sensing it as well?
Yeah, we are. We see kind of a similar phenomenon. There was an estimate. I think it was like 20% of roles were kind of work from home or remote first.
Right.
By definition. Fast forward, it looks like all the calculations I'm seeing, at least 40% of the roles, a double of the roles will stay in a remote first or kind of work from home, work from anywhere environment. So we're going to at least double that. And then we're starting to see this kind of blurred persona. So in the past, while there was lots of personas around the knowledge worker, the line of business, and what those kind of apps and devices needed, this kind of blurred vision really requires both. And when you think about both, I think we've got some really kind of unique capabilities. As I think about Workspace ONE, I think about the Samsung DeX experience where you kind of blend the best of both worlds, right? The mobile and that full desktop experience. So yeah. It's quite interesting to see companies kind of redefine already what that new persona is going to be, or those new personas going forward.
Well, I think that leads to the next part of the dialogue I wanted to have with you, and I think this is what probably makes our partnership kind of unique. Is it's more than just on the mobility management side. It's really on that very deep integration that we've done with you, really in the Workspace ONE space and in VDI. And as you mentioned DeX, I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation with you is last time you were here in Korea, I remember you and your team just talking glowingly about the fact that you guys not only promote this, but you use this pretty extensively with your workforce and with your sales teams and others. So I wanted to maybe transition a little bit and get maybe, from a user perspective, since you guys use it so much, this sort of, connectivity and the seamlessness that we've integrated between that mobile environment and the desktop environment and anything that the user is at. I wanted to maybe ask you to share a couple of your thoughts on that and what makes it, special for you and what it, why has it been, a good platform for you guys?
Right. I've, in kind of a mobile mind shift, I've been always kind of a mobile centric individual. Love my Galaxy experience. So when you think about the Samsung kind of DeX solution, and while I've got one set of mobile experiences, once I plug in, I ultimately go into a virtualized setting where I'm able to pull down virtualized apps. In some cases, I can even pull in a whole virtualized desktop image, and really from that one experience, have the same single sign-on. I've got access to all my corporate resources. and then I get a full blown up, kind of image of my Visio app that I happen to publish, if I want, that type of capability. And even in some of the higher kind of graphic rendering type applications, I think with the combination of our Horizon Blast protocol and what we've done with that experience, you are really able to kind of get the best of that mobile kind of phone tablet experience, but at the same time, it turns into almost a thin client, if you will, that's been optimized for kind of business use or around those different use cases. So like you said, it's been a great experience across the board.
That's great. Maybe one of the things I could ask of you as well, as we think about coming out of this into the new normal, what have you seen? We've certainly seen some upticks in certain verticals and industries that are experiencing, in many cases, a lot of that front edge of digital transformation. I'm talking about, retail's probably not going to look the same. A lot of contactless work going on there. Healthcare certainly has changed dramatically. I would even say that even financial services and government, where everyone is moving to an environment where they have to kind of deal with this sort of new set of working circumstances. How are you seeing that shape out for VMware and in your business and end user compute?
Yeah, so I think each industry, while there's been some commonality, there's also kind of differences by each of the industries. If you think about government, if I put kind of government, healthcare, and education, GEH, into one piece, there was less kind of remote from home working. So I think those in those industries, we saw a huge burst for VDI, where they needed to kind of overnight be able to at least get access to the images into apps. So there was a real burst around that. At the corporate level, whether it was finance and banking or other, kind of large enterprise corporate environments, they maybe had a small remote part of their workforce where they could VPN or at least kind of had the basics to do the work. But in each one of them, we're clearly seeing kind of, this kind of how do we take current capabilities and then how do we build out an environment that we can expand with that can kind of handle the volume and the various transparencies. So it's we've seen a mix in each, and we see growth going forward for all industries.
Awesome. Hey, look, I'm going to close out the conversation. First off, thanks for your time and thanks for your partnership and really your friendship through this time. Look, we got a lot of things going on with you, whether it be around the continued work that we do around security and Knox integration and the management of the platform. Certainly all the great work that we're doing around, Workspace ONE and how to get seamless experiences for the user. So we look forward to continuing to work with you and being successful in the marketplace, and look forward to seeing you back here in Korea or me in Florida. Either one works for me. But it's good to see you in good health, and I look forward to chatting with you again. So again, appreciate you being on with us.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. Thanks for having us. Thank you for the partnership. We look forward to the co-innovation as we kind of both go jointly serve our customers. So thank you for your time.
Awesome, Jeff. Take care. See you. Well, that brings the third episode of Samsung Together to a close. And I want to thank all of you for taking time to join us. I hope you learned a lot about Samsung DeX and how it can make a difference in your work environment as we increasingly move into remote work as the new normal. I want to thank Kevin and Michael for really digging deep and preparing some great content for us to better understand how easy Samsung DeX is to use and how powerful it is. Let me reemphasize that Samsung DeX isn't something new we just came up with. This is a robust solution that we've been developing and improving over several years. And it's perfectly positioned to support companies today as we quickly transition to this new remote work reality. And remember, Samsung DeX didn't just happen in a vacuum. At Samsung, our most innovative efforts begin with great partnerships and collaboration. We've been working with partners like VMware on this from the beginning, and I want to thank Jeff Mitchell for speaking with me about the success of that collaboration and giving us his take on what's happening in the industry. Similarly, our partners at Cisco have been instrumental in helping us make sure that WebEx is seamlessly integrated into Samsung DeX. We're grateful for their close partnership, and I want to thank Abhay Kulkarni for his time and industry insights today as well. As I mentioned, there is still much uncertainty in the world, and no one has a crystal ball to see what's ahead. But I think we can safely say that even when this is behind us, and we won't be running back to the office as we did before. Behaviors have changed, and forward-thinking companies are just starting to take advantage of the new trends to build new efficiencies and ultimately to work better and smarter. We believe that Samsung DeX can play a vital role in this transformation, and we hope you'll take a closer look. Please also get in touch with us if you have thoughts on possible partnerships and collaboration. And finally, after this, there will be a quick survey, and I'd like to ask you to take a few moments to tell us your thoughts. Today's DeX Solution Deep Dive is a direct result of your input. We always appreciate hearing from you, and it helps us make this series better. Please continue to take care of yourself and those close to you. And I look forward to seeing you at the first in-person event we hold when it's possible. Until then, I wish you the best of health personally and prosperity for your business. I'm Casey Choi. Thank you.
Step up, please. Empty your pockets.
Looks like you're all set for that business trip. You've got your smartphone, laptop, your other smartphone.
Is this all the devices you have?
Your tablet, seriously? Smartwatch, your backup tablet, and
Anything else in your bag?
whatever that is. This isn't working. Introducing Samsung Mobile Workspace Solutions. With the Galaxy Note 10 with DeX software, you can run your entire business on the one device that does it all. Samsung Business Solutions.